Hey guys, Enter the Stars, and I decided to button up this last season 7 of the series, The 100. I was finally able to complete it. We were going to do a live show on this Monday, but I'd much rather be with you guys in the chat, watching it together, so that we can all hang out. I don't get to do that as much anymore, and so that's why I'm pre-recording this. So if you're watching this, I should be in the chat with you. And basically, what you're going to see today are episodes from Season 7, which aired during the spam-demic. So let's get into the plot of this. So the 100 crew, they get their hands on this helmet. And you can see her wearing it here. This is Raven. And it actually allows them to operate what are called these spiral stones. Now, the stones basically are spiral gates to other worlds. Now, we compared the spiral stones to tree portals. Well, that intuition was absolutely correct because it is confirmed in the very closing scenes of the entire series of the 100. And you're going to see that pretty soon here. So Raven puts this helmet on, and each world that she sees, there's like 6 worlds, they each have their own symbol. They choose one, and then they end up on this ice planet where the dead are buried and discarded. Now, the symbol for that planet, as you can see right here, this is called the OPAL symbol. It's also known as the Omega symbol. In fact, it's the same symbol that we see in the series Loki, as well as the stage design under the T-Man's feet when he was at that conference a couple years ago. Now, what is so sinister about this symbol? Well, you're going to see in a minute, but basically they're referred to as ribbons. You know, like the Greek word tikto, T-I-K-T-O, or TOXON, referring to what the white horseman of the apocalypse was carrying in Revelation 6:2. Now, awareness ribbons are also in this shape. And of course, awareness ribbons are about illnesses that kill people. Watch.
Oh, one of the symbols that was on that girl's face is in here. I'm gonna select that one. We're all aliens now.
Now, the word toxon, as you can see here, is the root word from the word toxin. So, the tikto ribbon is also on the 19th tarot card, as you're going to see in a second here. So you have to ask yourself, what are we really looking at here? Is this Revelation 6:2 a ribbon and a crown carried by Apollyon on a white horse?
Jordan, there's an anomaly here too. Widen out one step. Wormholes. The anomaly is a wormhole. But whatever these people are, they can travel anywhere in the universe. Looks like there's 6 planets in what could be a network. One seems to be offline, and one is Sanctum.
2 stars?
Yeah.
We try them all. Pick one and enter the code.
Okay. This one looks fun.
So Raven has the helmet and she has to pick a planet. And of course, she chooses the ribbon planet. Right? The TikTok or TOXON planet. And as you're going to see here, she punches in the coordinates, and then on the actual stone appears what appears to be a fast forward symbol. Now, of course, we've seen this fast forward symbol before, haven't we? Yes, we have. It is T-Rump's tower next to the IBM building. Now, I superimposed the Superman logo over the top of the IBM building, but it's basically the same shape as the T-Man's tower. As you can see here, they're next to one another. They're not superimposed because you can't obviously superimpose buildings into one another, but you get what you're looking at here. Now, the weird thing about these buildings is if you draw a line to where they appear to be pointing, they point to Tesla's workshop on Long Island. There, of course, is the T-Man at the tip of the triangle. There's also what appears to be a tip of a triangle at the base of the T tower. I believe it's the atrium. Now, what does this symbol mean, these two triangles, this pair of triangles? Well, I believe it is a fast forward symbol, and it has to do with time travel. And I'm not exactly sure how, but as far as we know, this has to do with demon possession. And this is how demons travel through time. From all the way back from Jesus' time, the same demons are walking around in people's bodies.
It's showing me what symbols to touch.
So here is the actual copper or bronze stone, this time travel stone or portal. And there you saw the fast forward symbol on there. Now this also has other connotations to it, this symbol, but I'll let you dig into that. It's kind of obscure though. It's very hard to find the meaning, the base meaning of the triangle symbol.
What if the fun one isn't survivable?
Every mind has.
Now, they're able to escape the ice planet, but the reason why I went in depth into this part of the planet of the series is because this was the very first planet that they went to, that they traveled to. And that's why the symbolism is significant. So in this next scene, you see that eyes are portals. The eyes in your head are portals. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, your eye is a metaphor for the womb, and the womb is a portal. And she's standing next to the spiral stone, and then the guy starts talking about her eyes being the windows to the soul, or a portal.
Unique code. With it, a stone can find you. Look here and try not to blink. The eyes are the windows to the soul. So she doesn't lose her memory.
So he says the eyes are the windows to the soul. Let's play that again.
So she doesn't lose her memory.
Survivable.
Every mind has a unique code. With it, a stone can find you. Look here and try not to blink. The eyes are the windows to the soul.
So, the eyes are the womb as well. They're metaphors of one another. God did that on purpose so that we could see the nested reality, and it would be a wonder, a sign that he created us. It would show the true authorship of our bodies and our flesh, that the eyes are very similar in their makeup to the womb universe. And if you're interested in that topic, I go into much more depth in other shows, but for the purposes of this decode, we're not going to go into too much detail about that. But Basically, pull up some images of the structure, the internal anatomy of the eye. And then next to it, pull up some images of a child in the womb. And you'll see all the same structures. The iris becomes a cervix. The image comes in inverted, just like a child is inverted in the womb. There's an umbilical cord-like structure. In fact, there's a substance called Wharton's jelly that only exists in the umbilical cord and the vitreous humor of the eye. That alone connects the eye and the womb together. There's a placenta, which is the retina. There's fruit lining the walls. It goes on and on and on.
So she doesn't lose her memory. It's a side effect of jumping to a slower time-dilated planet. She'll forget everything from the moment she left to the moment she returns.
Now, this part, obviously, they're talking about losing their memory. Now, as I just said, the eye is an analogy of the womb. And in the womb, you forget how you got here. Now, I'm not talking about reincarnation. Rather, I'm talking about how the Bible says that God knew us in the womb. Well, obviously, you don't remember that when you're born, right? You're born into this world and you forget that you knew God and that he knew you in the womb. Now, in the series, they have to wear these special helmets so that they can retain their memory as they travel through these portals. Otherwise, their memory gets wiped. They don't know how they got to where they were. Now, this next part is interesting because really what they're talking about here is the Nephilim giants and the hollow earth. Crystal giants.
Turned into crystal giants. Their atmosphere was so polluted they were forced to build forests underground in order to breathe.
That might have been kind of hard to hear, but basically they were forced underground. They had to build a forest underground in order to breathe. They were crystalline giants. So, at this point in the series, the last season, there's a group led by a man called the Shepherd. He's basically the false Messiah. And he believes that the only way to ascend is to basically a great war, a war to end all wars. And he believes that this last war will bring peace and ascension. And of course, this series is loaded with biblical references.
For all mankind, the shepherd brings us calm. The shepherd brings us wisdom. The shepherd brings us love.
You have me. Now let my people go.
Who are you?
They call me the shepherd.
Now, this next part released well into the spamdemic, so there's nothing really to see here because the spamdemic had already started. I mean, unless you want to take into account that this was probably filmed before the spamdemic. We don't know. I mean, it's much more powerful when something is actually aired before an event happens. Then we can say for sure that there was foreshadowing. But in this case, we can't say for sure. But I wanted to include it because here they talk about virus, right? Russian virus spreads. But these people don't look Russian to me. They look more like they're from China, don't they?
Anaconda.
Now, there's lots and lots of flashbacks in season 7 that complete the story, fill in the missing blanks, and in this instance, they tell the story about how Shepard came to be, that he had prepared an underground bunker and started basically a cult in anticipation of the end of the world, and he used the code word Anaconda to signal all of his followers that the missiles are in the air and that it's time to retreat to the bunkers. Now, where have we heard Anaconda before? Well, that was the blockade that Lincoln put around the South to choke them into submission. Now, there is a Lincoln character in the 100 series, but I think he died in like season 4. But they even show the Lincoln Memorial. I mean, there's so much in this. We'll get into what the copper means, but understand that these time portals these time stones are made out of copper. And this all goes back to Lincoln and his 99 Red Balloon Army, the first Air Force of America.
Bill, if this isn't real.
It is. You have 20 minutes. I've already sent the chopper.
Now, copper is a bizarre element because it has magical properties. It has both like positive and negative charges. They're kind of equalized to where if you stick a magnet next to it, a special kind of magnet, it almost like levitates. Now, if you're interested in that, there are videos right here on YouTube. Look up magnet, copper properties, or something like that. It should pull up everything you need to know about that. But here's the blockade that Lincoln put around the South, called the Anaconda Plan, to squeeze them out. And then right over here, during Lincoln and his presidency, they laid the transatlantic copper line, telegraph line, the first of its kind in history, solid copper.
Anaconda. Anaconda.
Becca, if you don't mind.
So obviously this is about copper, okay? And Lincoln was the copper president. That's why they put him on the copper penny, right? And the anaconda really represents probably the blue blood, the copper snake, the blue snake in the wilderness. In other words, wellness through, not through faith, but through pharmakia.
And I'd like to talk about your blood.
I might.
744 symbols with no instruction.
He just heard her. I want to talk about your blood. See? And as they're standing next to the copper portal stone.
Talk about your blood.
I might.
744 symbols.
Let me play that back one more time.
Anaconda. Anaconda.
Becca, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about your blood.
I might.
744 symbols with no instruction manual. Well, that means infinite possible combinations.
7 symbols, 7 points.
Now, in the series, the copper blood is the blood that carries the artificial intelligence in the holy place at the base of the neck. They make a small incision in the back of the neck, the holy place where the image of Christ is, and they insert this chip, and it possesses the person in the holy place. And if you don't have the blue blood or the black blood, you can't receive the chip. In other words, they have to modify the blood first before they insert the chip. Now, you just heard them throw out some numbers. 744 symbols, 7 symbols, 7 points. What do those numbers mean? Well, we know what 77 is. That was all about the T-Man. Now, how else do we know that this relates to what's happening right now? Well, you're going to hear her mention the number 19 and tick-tock. Tick-tock. Well, that's the ribbon. That's the bow of Revelation 6:2, carried by the man on the white horse.
Grace, we're standing before a bridge to another world.
But is that world habitable? Okay, without the blood alterations, the flame will liquefy the nervous system of the host rather than merge with it.
Oh, look. Now it's 19.
TikTok. Now here it is right here. Bow, tick-toe. This is what I believe TikTok and the whole TikTok meme was all about. The app. They knew all this was coming. These are rituals. TikTok, TikTok, as she talks about the number 19. There's the 19th tarot card with the TikTok on it, the bow. In this case, a red bow, right? Now, this confirms to me that Revelation 6 is not talking about a bow and arrow. It's talking about a ribbon. What is the ribbon? Well, this could relate to DNA, I don't know. But there's something to this. XIX is the Roman numeral for 19. This is the 19th tarot card. You also have a solar corona here, don't you? This is the Sun tarot card. Now, for most of the series, there's a lot of bloodshed, and most of it occurs in an area called the Fighting Pit inside the underground bunker. And to me, I see a number 19 in this fighting pit. Watch. There you see it here. They enter through this side and it spins around. Now this is also a spiral, but look on the outside here. There's a 1 and a 9. Now, in the end, at the brink of failing this test to ascend, they decide that they've all had enough of this fighting. They all put down their arms and they're turned into balls of light that ascend up into the air. But what remains on the ground are trees, glowing trees. You can see them here. Now, what bothers me about this ending is that me and you are the ones that are blamed for why we can't get to heaven, right? Or why we can't, they say they call it ascension, but really it's getting to some kind of harmony on this planet. They blame me and you, people down on our level. You guys, it's not me and you who are waging war against each other. It's bankers, it's greedy billionaires that do that. We're tricked into it. People that go to these places to fight, they really actually believe the lie. They're the ones leading our hearts into darkness. And the author of that is the devil. So, though this ending sounds all beautiful and hopeful, understand that once again, it's the enemy trying to make us the scapegoat. Now, the Bible's clear. It says all sin is ascribed to the scapegoat, to Satan, not us. We're saved through grace if we believe. Now, this is the final scene here, and as you can see, they show Clark against the backdrop of a tree stump, which all along we were saying these are not columnar basalt, lava flows. These were actually formerly the trees that connected us to the garden, to the many trees of the garden. We were all cut off from that when sin entered the world. These are the remnants. They're packed hexagonal structures into what looks like a stalk that was cut off. And they show it twice here in this scene. Now, for the life of me, I could not find where this particular beach in this area was filmed in British Columbia. If some of you know where this was filmed, you're from BC, from Canada, let us know in the chat or the comments. But it's clear that what they're showing here, this looks like the Devil's Tower in Wyoming, is what it looks like. But I believe this is in this is in British Columbia as we watch this play out. There's one here, and I believe they show the same image in this scene, separate scene. See it right here. Whatever this is, I believe this is the remnants of a giant tree that once reached the heavens. And this marks the end of the season, all the seasons of the 100. Now, a couple of these season decodes I have on Odysee. They're not here on YouTube, so hit those first, and you can go straight through all of the decodes. I believe there's 5 or 6 decodes total. This is the 6th or 7th one, and so if you're lost at any point of this, go back to the first 2 decodes on Odysee. I had to take them off because our channel came under threat and we almost struck out one weekend, and most of it had to do with these decodes. So they do not want you seeing everything that I just showed you. Now, if there's anything I missed with these decodes, some apparent symbolism, just let us know in the chat or the comment section. I love each and every one of you. Take care and be safe.